Hello, my name is Jessie Everts, and today I'm sitting down with Dr. Marilyn Dollinger, the Associate Dean of the Wegmans School of Nursing here at St. John Fisher. Applying for any type of schooling can be a very nerve-wracking process, but Dr. Dollinger is going to be helping by telling us what it takes to get into the Wegmans School of Nursing, along with ways to prepare if you are interested in applying. Thank you for sitting down with me today, Dr. Dollinger.
My pleasure, thank you.
So I'd like to start off by you telling us a brief history of the Wegmans School of Nursing.
Well, it's interesting. The Wegmans School of Nursing actually opened, and we moved into our building in 2007. But the nursing program has been at Fisher for a lot longer than that. In 1991, we started granting Fisher degrees in nursing. Before that, the Alfred University nursing students came up here and were on site for their junior and part of their senior year to access the clinical facilities. So they were on Fisher's campus, but not really part of the student body. So that program got tougher for Alfred to market because the students would be basically taken away from their friends and their surroundings and everything for the last 2 years of college. So in 1991, the program moved to Fisher, lock, stock, and barrel, library holdings, faculty, curriculum, and everything. That program actually started in the 1940s during the Second World War as a cadet nursing corps program. So it's got a long history. The program's actually been around since the 1940s, but here at Fisher since 1991.
Wow. So what makes Fisher different? What makes their nursing program different?
Well, of course, I'm completely biased, but I believe we've got the best program in this whole region. Some of the things that I think distinguish our program is, first of all, we have a really cutting-edge curriculum. We implemented a revised and updated curriculum in 2011, and we've paid very close attention to integrating a lot of the national initiatives in patient quality and safety throughout our curriculum. The mission here at Fisher is really teaching. So we have a wonderfully prepared faculty. Almost all of our faculty have doctorates in nursing. Lots of practice experience. After all, we are a practice profession, so it's really important that the people teaching students know what they're doing in the clinical area and have a good background in that. Our main goal is teaching, as I said. We do have scholarship, we have some grants, faculty publish, and all of those other types of things. But here at Fisher, our primary commitment is to the student, and our belief is if you qualify to get into the program, you absolutely have the potential to be successful, and our goal is to assist the students in achieving that success.
Great. Now you just talked about the curriculum and how it makes Fisher different. Can you explain to us what the curriculum is? Is it split up in 2 years and then 2 years, or is it all one 4-year program? How does that work?
Good question. We have what's called an upper division program, and that means the actual nursing courses themselves are all in the junior and senior year, and it's all nursing. So students would typically spend their freshman and sophomore year, whether they came to us right out of high school or as adult students, doing the liberal arts and science. So there are 60 credits here at Fisher that students have to do before they start nursing. We have some sciences that must be done before you actually start the nursing program, and those are part of the liberal arts and science core. The nursing program is the other 60 credits. So the bachelor's degree in nursing is 120 credits. The 60 credits of nursing are all in the junior and senior year.
Okay, so do they have any clinical experience? Is there an opportunity for hands-on, whether it's in the classroom or out of the classroom?
Both. As I mentioned, we are a practice profession, so when someone starts their nursing courses in the junior year, about 3 weeks in, that student will start going to the hospital in our first course. There are 800 clinical hours in the program. So over those 4 semesters in the junior and senior year, students will be in a mix of acute inpatient settings doing patient care, as well as community agencies doing some home care and community-based care. We're very lucky in this area. We have 4 magnet hospitals, which is a national designation of excellence. So we use all of the hospitals in this area, including some in Ontario County, down in the Canandaigua area as well as the 3 major home care agencies.
Oh, very cool. So what kind of experience do students get while in the hospitals? What kind of stuff do they get to do?
Well, the students go in, and of course the expectations change over the course of the 4 semesters they're in there. But the students are on a clinical unit with an instructor who has 8 students under her supervision. And they provide comprehensive patient care. So they go in, they do medications, they do different treatments and procedures, patient teaching, they admit patients, they discharge patients, so the whole nursing role they do throughout the program.
Now, this whole program sounds very rigorous. How can high school students prepare?
My best advice to high school students is that they should take as much science and math as they can. We look for 4 years of sciences, and our admissions, our freshman admissions specifically looks at a student's grades in algebra and chemistry in high school, as well as their overall GPA. The nursing program is tough. It's science-based, and the best predictors for success are actually people's performance in those sciences.
Is there anything that transfer students can do to prepare?
Yep, we have an interesting mix of students in our program. We certainly have a number of students coming to Fisher right out of high school and following through the 4 years. But we also have a large number of students who come to us either after they've already done a degree. We have students who have bachelor's and master's degrees and other things, and also just adult students who have other careers. So they can enter the program at any period of time up to the beginning of the junior year, but many of them will choose to do their prerequisites and round out their liberal arts requirements at a community college where it's a little cheaper for them related to tuition, and then they can apply directly to the junior year where they would join up with the students in the Fisher system.
Okay, very cool. Are there any other recommendations you would give anyone who's interested in applying for the nursing program?
Well, one of the questions I always ask when I meet prospective students is, what do you know about nursing? What are you expecting? So it's interesting to me and important if they have nurses in their families, in their extended families, or friends who are nurses, so they have some sense of what's really going on. There are a lot of jobs available in nursing right now, so I know a lot of parents are urging their students to go into nursing because the job outlook is pretty good. But it's really important that they have a sense of what they're getting into. It's a tough program. It's a wonderful way to earn your living. It's a wonderful profession, but it's pretty intimate work a lot of times, and you have to really be interested and care about people. We can teach you everything you need to know about the skills and the process and how to be a nurse, but it's really important that you have that desire to help people. Otherwise, it can be tough.
So you have to be cut out to be a nurse.
Well, yes. We can help you get there, but it's important to me people understand what they're getting into. So one of the things I will say to students, if you really don't have any experience, you should probably go and do some shadowing experiences so you have some idea about what you're getting into.
Definitely. So can you tell us about the admission process?
Sure. When students apply to Fisher as high school students, they would go through freshman admissions, and I mentioned before, specifically their chemistry and algebra grades and overall GPA would be important. We accept in a certain number of students as nursing majors to the freshman year. They would come in and take the liberal arts and sciences, and then during the freshman and sophomore year, we also connect with them through freshman and sophomore nursing seminars. So we meet with those majors 3 times a semester before they actually get into the nursing program. Then in the spring of their sophomore year, they need to apply to the Wegmans School of Nursing. Now we tell them right up front that there's a required overall GPA of a 2.75. Those 7 sciences, anatomy, physiology, microbiology, chemistry, nutrition, statistics, and development across a lifespan, which is a psychology course. Those 7 courses, they have to have a mini GPA of a 2.4. So it's primarily a GPA-driven decision, and there's an application form, an essay, a couple references. But if Fisher students come in and declare a nursing major as a freshman, they meet those criteria, we guarantee them a seat in the clinical year. All other students who have been at maybe Fisher for other things or come in as transfer students, they go into a competitive pool. So we would add the students, the Fisher students who met the criteria as juniors first. We would give them seats, and then we look at the rest of the pool and fill out the class with those students.
So even if you're not technically a nursing major, when you come into Fisher, you're still able to apply?
Sure, you can declare a nursing major, and you would need to do that because those science prerequisites have preferred enrollment for nursing majors. So it would be important you're a nursing major so that you could get the prereqs that you need. But we certainly have a large number of students that come in for other things or undeclared, and then during that period of time they're here decide to switch to nursing, and they can do that.
So if you're in the nursing program, do you still have the opportunity to study abroad?
Yes, and thank you. That's a very important feature. In a lot of professional programs, the criteria or the requirements spread over a number of years, and students aren't available to do foreign study. I love the fact that in our curriculum we're able to make time for students in the spring of their sophomore year to do foreign study. And actually the very first freshman seminar, I have the director of the foreign studies program come in and talk to the students so they've got time to plan. It typically involves just a little rearranging of some of their courses, but I am a big fan of students pushing their boundaries, getting outside their comfort zone, and foreign study is a wonderful way to do that. So as a nurse, they understand that there's many right ways to do things, and there's many different perspectives about how we define health and what healing means and all of those things.
So do they get hands-on experience while they're abroad?
Typically not. There are very few foreign study programs where there is specific content related to nursing. But from my perspective, I'm just happy that they're going to get exposure to different cultures. And then once they get into the nursing program, we can help with that process.
Okay. So it sounds like Fisher has a great program. So why is nursing a good profession to go into?
Well, if people have followed nursing workforce issues over a number of years, typically about every 10 years, in the past, there has been a nursing shortage. And typically, salaries go up a little bit, more people come into nursing, programs expand their programs a little bit, and then we meet that demand and it settles down for a while. This nursing shortage is different than every other shortage, and that is because my generation of nurses, the baby boomers, we are the largest single demographic of the nursing workforce. So there's more nurses in their late 40s, early 50s, and beginning 60s than any other age group. That group is just beginning to reach retirement age. So the demand for nurses is continuing to increase. A big chunk of the workforce is getting close to retirement age. And as they retire, the opportunities are just going to be wide open. And that's going to continue over the next 20 or to 30 years.
Okay, well, thank you for sitting down with me. Is there anything else you would like to add about Fisher's nursing program?
We have two actually other features which make it unique.
Great.
We do have a healthcare, a Spanish minor for healthcare providers, which is a 7-course sequence that students can do to attain proficiency in Spanish. So that starts right in the freshman year, and that is finished up by their placement in their final clinical preceptor right when they're about to graduate. We do have an opportunity for global travel in that course. Spanish minors get preferred placement if they're interested in going to Peru, the program we have. We also have trips to Kenya and Waterford, Ireland. So we're very positive about giving the students who qualify, and there's a GPA requirement to kind of leave home for those last 3 weeks to do that. The other thing we have is a fast track option in the senior year. So students who have a 3.3 GPA in nursing or higher are able to substitute 2 graduate courses from our master's program in their senior year, so they graduate with their bachelor's degree with 5 to 6 credits of graduate work already done, and that's a very popular option.
Yeah, definitely. Now, so Fisher has some very cool options for students. Can we talk a little bit about the nursing building in particular, what the classrooms are like?
Absolutely. In 2007, we moved into the Wegmans School of Nursing. It's actually 4-story building. We have enough classrooms in there to accommodate all of the nursing programs, all of the different programs we have, as well as all of the different classes. And we have 3 learning labs, which are probably the most fun thing if a student comes to visit and tour. We have an 8-bed learning resource center, which essentially looks like a hospital setting. And all of the same equipment our students would find in a hospital. So students spend a lot of time in there practicing a variety of skills. We have another learning resource center which has exam tables, so it would be similar to something you'd see in either a nurse practitioner or physician's office. And the students are in there the very first semester in nursing school, learning how to do a complete head-to-toe physical exam. And then we have a simulation lab where we have high-fidelity simulators, and that allows us to run the students through scenarios where they can make the decisions they think are appropriate for the patient care, and the faculty members in the control room. And if they're making the right decisions, the patient starts to get better and responds appropriately. If they're not making the right decisions, the patient can get sicker and sicker. So it's wonderful because it allows us to evaluate the students' critical thinking skills. Certainly in the hospital setting, if the student's starting to head down a path in their clinical reasoning that's not appropriate, we need to stop them because patient safety is obviously the most important thing. we have to be concerned about.
Yeah.
So it's really a wonderful learning situation, and I think most of the students love it.
So in these hospital-like rooms, do they use dummies to practice on, other students, each other, volunteers?
All of the above, all of the above. Certainly in some of the classes, in some of the situations, they will practice on each other, and I'm actually a big fan of experiential learning. There's something called the Hoyer lift that you use to get a patient out of bed so the nurses aren't doing all the lifting. And it's kind of a unique experience to be swinging in that sling as you're transferred from a bed to a chair. And we have all of the students not only learn how to do that from the nurse's perspective, but play the patient as well, so they do that. We actually don't call the mannequins dummies because they're all computerized and they're actually quite smart.
Oh, wow.
So we have low fidelity simulators in our hospital sort of bed section, and then the high fidelity simulators are all computerized. They breathe, they talk, they have monitors which show their heart rates and different perfusion pressures and oxygen saturations and a variety of things. So the students will actually be interacting with the mannequins in that high-fidelity simulation lab. So it's pretty much full service. I don't think there's a nursing school around with better facilities than we have.
Right. So Fisher students are obviously very experienced through clinical and the hands-on experience in the classroom. What is job placement like once they're done with school?
As far as we can tell, 100%. I don't know of any students who have been looking for full-time employment in the last several years who haven't been able to get a job. Our students do so much in the clinical area that often, either from their senior year clinicals or their final 3-week clinical block we have them do right before they graduate, the nurse managers and the nurses they're working on in these settings really pay attention to the students, and many, many times our students will get job offers from the places where they've actually been as students.
That's great.
We have a small number of students who may go out of state, maybe 5 to 8%, but other than that, most of our students are employed in this region.
Generally, do students stay in nursing, or have you seen any go on to med school, become a doctor, surgeon, anything like that?
Well, my advice to people, if they really want medicine, don't come to nursing school. They're very different professions. So most of our students, rather than taking a different career path, will go to graduate school and get a master's and doctoral degrees in nursing. So then they can be things, nurse practitioner, clinical nurse specialist, nurse anesthetist, or nurse midwife. So those would be the career path goals that most of our students would aim for.
Well, it sounds like Fisher has a very successful nursing program, a lot of hands-on experience for their students, and their students end up in good places. So thank you for sitting down with me today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It was great talking to you.